Alrighty guys, I'm Casey and welcome to a brand new episode and a brand new season of our Minecraft Survival series. Last season we built ourselves up a desert themed village, and we also built ourselves a village in some sort of like hilly canyon, and it looked really cool and I really enjoyed making those builds. But we're in a new era of the channel. I'm doing way more with my channel now than I was before, spending a lot more time focusing on it, and I wanted something new in it, but I wanted to keep the world that we had. So these nether portals do lead to the old world. I actually moved the nether portal here from over here, but I haven't taken this one down yet, so I've got to do that. But I want to talk about what's coming over from the old season. So again, the old world is through these nether portals. We're somewhere in that same world, and all I'm bringing with me is one shulker box, and I filled this with items that I want to bring with me because we spent a lot of time sort of going through the early game grind over there, and I really don't want to go through that again right now. So this is what I've opted to bring with me. I've tried to go for a different mixture of stuff, but the first thing that I've obviously brought is all of my gear. So we've got the blade of Casey. I did put mending on this. Again, we've got my pickaxe, we've got my town pick, we've got my axe and my shovel. So I've got all of my tools. I've brought my elytra and my armor with me. I really wish there was a way to attach the elytra to the chest plate, but there isn't. Again, I put mending on the bit of this that was missing mending on. So this could just sort of go in my ender chest for now. I did bring my ender chest with me, so I'm going to put the ender chest down there. And those, I forgot to take those out there. We're going to ignore those two shulker boxes for now. They're not there. I'm going to go and drop them off in the old world later on. I also brought my beacon with me. I brought some rockets, and I brought a bed with me so we could actually sleep. So I'm going to pop these in here because this is where they're going to go. I also brought with me some sweet berry bushes and some bamboo so we can craft scaffolding and get ourselves some berry bushes. I'm actually going to plant these down so they can actually start growing, because they do take a little time to grow. I couldn't be bothered to travel all the way to Viridis to get more of those. I figured we could just make do with what we had. Brought myself some spruce saplings because I definitely want to use spruce in here. And there's probably one item in here that you noticed. Why would I bring a saddle with me? So I want to add story into this. Now I like to write. I write stories all the time, and part of that writing, oh that grew pretty quick. And I kind of want to bring some of that writing into YouTube. So I thought I'm going to actually start writing some really good lore, some really good detail, and have everything have a story and a reason and a rhyme to it. So this is the story so far. Now, I'm probably going to do this as a separate episode of the story. I really want to make that something unique on my channel that you don't see everywhere else, is the Let's Play world actually has a detailed story. But I am going to give a very brief description of the story here, just so you can follow along. And hopefully I'll get around to that episode at some point in the near future. So, we are going to be playing the character of a traveller. This traveller set out from our desert-themed village to find a new world. He's come all the way over here. He's got nothing but his steed and a horse and a cart. So we are going to build a cart that's going to lead us into our first build. I'm going to put a cart somewhere here. Once he arrives here, he's got his horse, he's got his cart. He needs a place to seek refuge. He doesn't have all the materials necessary to build himself a little hut. He's not brought a tent with him. So I thought, what if there was a cave nearby that he actually took refuge in, and we're going to build a cave just to the side of this hill here. So I think that's what I want to do for the first episode, and that's going to lead us into, you know, the story is going to dictate pretty much what we build in which episodes. But it does mean that I need to carve out a bit of a cave here, and I'm only going to go with a very shallow cave. If you've ever played Death Stranding, there's like a cave at the beginning of that game. That's kind of what I'm going for here. So I'm going to get this horse and cart done, and then I'm going to bring you back to show you that. Well, that sure isn't creepy, is it? They're just stood looking at me. They're not moving. They're not doing anything. I mean, geez. I just look up and this is what I see. Well, you know what we got to do? We got to defend our land. So let's do this. Uh-oh. Oh, there was an ambush. They were laying in wait. Kill the Bannerlord first. Okay, we've got the ill omen effect, that's fine. I'm not too fussed by that effect. Okay. These are literally doing no damage to us, and I do believe this is on hard. Yes. Our armor is just awesome. And their crossbows, Not so much. Okay, so we killed the scouting party, but I don't think we killed as many as I saw originally. So we're going to say that one got away. Welcome on back, folks. And dun, da, 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 this is the final product. This is our little wagon. This is what we've traveled all the way from the desert in. This little thing here. We've got a couple of horses. I decided to have two just so I could put these on this here on these like fence posts and have them sort of attached. We got our fence post here in the ground, which this one likes to graze. This one keeps doing it. I actually want to get on the one with the saddle, take the saddle off it, but that's okay. We can leave the saddle on it for now. But I was able to get them in here, and this thing, I think, for my first attempt to wagon in years, this came out really, really well. I want to thank F-Whip or Whip for this, because I was watching his 8 wagon designs and got a lot of inspiration from them while watching that for this. This actually helped me inspire and keep, you know, looking for new things to add. I think, although I do think that now I'm looking at this again here, I think there are a couple of things that I'd like to change about it. Just some minor things. And I don't want to go too over the top with this, but I do think that maybe if we were to add just grabbing a couple of these trapdoors and maybe just adding one on the side, that furnace there just helps it blend in a little bit more. I can't add one here, I don't think. I don't think it's going to let me add one there. Nope. Well, we could do that, but that looks horrible, so I'm not going to do that. But that just helps that blend in a little bit more. And I really do like this. We've used spruce, dark oak, and oaks. We've used 3 different kinds of wood for this. And again, all of this, apart from the spruce, was local. You know, we had to grow the spruce manually. I forgot to pick up the saplings. Bad Kyle. Bad Casey. But I think this has really turned out really well. And the idea is we're going to be living out of this. This is our starter house, our starter base. We've got our bed, a few chests. We've got a crates back here. I could have added more crates here if I wanted to. But it just kind of made the whole thing feel a little bit just sort of... Oh, actually, it's not letting me put that there. Maybe that's because... I wonder why I can't... Yes, that feels much better to me. Feels like we've got more space in here now. Here, we could have put storage crates in the roof if we actually wanted to. But I wanted to make this look sort of like he'd be using this. And these are like spokes to keep it grounded. And when we set off, he'd lift these spokes up and pop them back down. Yeah, that's right. That was really cool. Driver can't really see where he's going, so he comes around here and he sits on this seat, which we can't jump up onto, but we don't need to. You know, you can see it. I've used fence gates. I've tried to use fence gates just a bit differently. I don't normally use fence gates. I usually just use fence posts, but I've tried to integrate fence gates into this build, especially here as well. I don't know if I've done them in the right places or not. I just wanted to use them, and I figured I better try to put them somewhere, and I like where they are at the minute. We've gone for a darker spruce on top, just to sort of help it blend in some. And I'm not done with this area. I want this to sort of like... I want a pathway. You can see I've dug a pathway out to our cave here. Because the idea is he'd be traveling this pathway quite a lot. So I do want to do that pathway. But to do that pathway, I need some more gravel. Because I want to use some coarse dirt in it. And I don't have gravel yet. So I figure let's start working on this cave a bit. Then I can work on this in a little bit. But I definitely want to do it in this episode. So I'm going to start to work on this cave. I'll bring you back when I got something to show you. So I've got the basic shape in of something that I'm rather happy with, but I want to make this look man-made and natural. I want this to be like there was a natural indent here. And we arrived here, we saw this indent, it was barely enough to take shelter. The rain was still pounding down and getting wet, so we dug it a bit further back just so that we're out of the reach of the rain. So I wanted to look man-made, but also organic and natural. And I think I've got kind of a shape together. I do definitely want to just pick up some more bits at the top here. But I think what I'm going to work on right now is the front archway. I think that's definitely what I want to work on. I want to sort of make the front of it look man-made, but the back of it look natural. I know that's kind of the opposite of what I've just explained, you know, because he dug it back. But I definitely think that he would have done something to support the entrance. So I'm going to get some more work done on it. I'll bring you on back. It looks like I've accidentally created a mob farm. Oh, one thing I did do is I turned on dynamic lighting in Optifine. Bit of an update on the cave. This is sort of the shape. It definitely feels somewhat organic as well as somewhat man-made. I think I definitely need to put another block there just so we can't see that. Because if I put a log there, you see it popping out on the top there, and I don't like that. So I think we're going to cover that. This definitely looks man-made. This is just a temporary cobble mine. Back here, I've gone ahead and just sort of dumped the beacon. Because I wanted the beacon effect while I'm digging this cave out. But I did put it out here and it just looked, I don't know, it was kind of killing the immersion that I was going for. And I wanted to put it in like a semi-permanent place somewhere where I could essentially leave it for quite some time and not really worry about it. And back here I can do that. So we'll probably put like a door here. But now that I've got this all cobblestone, I need to vary this somewhat. I need to add some variation to this. So what I want to do is I want to trade out some of this cobblestone for some andesite and for some stone. And I also want to add in some slabs. I'm pretty sure that we've got andesite and stone slabs now. I'm going to check this on camera, but I'm pretty sure they're in the game. Stone slabs, yes. And stone stairs, yes. So I'm going to get that done. And when I've got something else to show you, I'll bring you on back. Welcome on back, folks. And the cave is in place. Now, I haven't done the outside here just yet. And we'll get on that in a little bit. But I focused my primary attention on the inside. So this is what we've got. We've got the campfire that he's using to keep himself warm. He's chilling here. Now, my plan was to put like uncooked food on here. Just have it sort of like sizzling at the side. I thought, oh, that'd be a really cool idea. I remembered you could do that with campfires. Unfortunately, once it's cooked, it automatically pops off. So we can't have that as a feature. That's unfortunate. Maybe there's a game rule I can turn off that'll prevent this from popping off. Maybe, because that just looks really nice simmering on the side there. But unfortunately, we can't have that. Over here, we've got the cooking rack where he's cooking meat. We've got an uncooked chicken and a cooked chicken. We got some chests dotted around because I imagine that, you know, he's here. He's living out of his little trailer here and his cave. So he'd have some storage in the cave where he's keeping other things. There we go. The mutton popped off now, which is unfortunate. So obviously we need a place to keep warm out of the rain. Then he'd put his food fire right near the back, I'd imagine. I know that's where I'd put mine. I'd put mine as far away from the rain as possible because I wouldn't want it to get wet, my food. I'd want it to be tasty and nice. And I'd sleep here somewhere near the entrance. Now, I considered moving the bed in here, but I decided against moving the bed in here because I thought, well, this is still a cave. He's still exposed here, at least in his little trailer. He's a bit more safe. And I do plan to actually put a door on here. I should have a spare door, actually, because I made some spruce doors. Or maybe what we do... No. I want to kind of hang the banner. I'm pretty sure I could probably find a way to do this. Okay, we'll hang that banner there. I like that there, actually. QKC spending the next 10 minutes trying to place the banner in a better location before finally realizing that the location he just placed it in was the better one. Yeah, we're talking about ourselves in the third person now. That's where it's going. Love it or hate it. Let's get a quick nap in here. And I'll tell you a little bit more of the detail that I've gone into here. So my estimate would be this guy. He'd want a safer way to get from his cabin here to this. So perhaps he decided to lay a pathway. And so we've got sort of pathway dotted in here. Just made out of cobblestone. I didn't infuse anything else into it because I wanted this pathway to be kind of prominent that it is here. And I think with this cobblestone one, it is. You can definitely tell it's here. I think... Don't have a shave of cobblestone on me. No, my cobblestone's out here. I want to put one more down that I think will help it out some. And that's just to pop one like here. There we go. So you can definitely tell there's some sort of pathway here. Maybe I'm going to take that one out. I don't have any dirt on me. I've got to do that bit anyway. So we'll just steal that there. Yeah, so you can definitely tell that there was a pathway here. Which is good, and he's obviously, this is a cave. Now, I didn't go with any stalactites or whatever they're called, because it's my first attempt at a cave. I think I did one in Endless Survival, actually, but it's my first, like, proper attempt at a cave, and I'm really loving the way that this is turned out, and I've definitely learned some things that I do differently, and if you notice, I've tried to keep the cobblestone mostly centered at the back, whereas at the front, I've tried to make them more stone. Now, it's not too obvious, but it's still there in some detail. Because imagine it, he'd be picking away at this. You know, he's mining away at this. Boom, boom, boom. He's going to crack the stone over here. Whereas this would have been what's been here for ages. Maybe there's some stone around here. Maybe I'll change out some of this. I've just realized this is one solid cobblestone. But yeah, my kind of goal for this episode is, if we go up here, is to sort of like make that look something nice where we're looking now. And I don't think I want to go as far as to go all the way up here. I think what I want to do is I want to bring it out somewhat, just around here somewhat. And I also want to add in a little storage facility here. The idea is he's here mining, he'd have some storage here, which is where he'd be storing the things. I don't want anything too big, just something that we've got a few chests in. So I'm going to get to work on that, and when I've got something else to show you, I'll bring you on back. Welcome on back, folks, and I think that I've got what I'm going to be doing today in place. So this is what I've come up with. This is like the final design. We're going to talk over some of what I've done. Let's have a little look at the storage hut. I wanted to go with something a little bit different. I didn't want to go with the typical double chests that you use. So I thought, hey, let's bring in some of these barrels, change the orientation of a couple of them just so they look a little bit different, and move over some of our resources over here, which is exactly what I've done. We've got grass and dirt here. Over here we've got wood. Crafting table snuck in there. This crafting table looks like it's a block shorter, doesn't it? But it's about the same time. I was going to put the crafting table down here on the floor, but I opted not to. And then I decided that, you know, we're here. We've got this campfire going over here. So it makes sense that he'd stockpile at least some wood here. So this is what I went with here. We got some campfires on here. I think I'm going to go into the texture pack and remove this like ash bottom. I know Whip did this and I didn't understand what he meant at first, but now that I've placed this down, I get exactly what he means about what he's removed from it, because this is just doesn't kind of work all that well, does it? But I've added in some darker wood to sort of like symbolize that this wood is slightly wet, and then obviously some of the bark where it's started to rot away, and some of the lighter colored where it's dried out. I've tried to go sort of where I think it'd be most likely to get wet. Maybe this one would be a wet one as well, but that's perfectly fine. I've added in some grass, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, or if it's because there's haste here, but almost every piece of grass that I grow, the initial piece is 2 blocks high. It's been a pain doing this bit here. And I brought the path. If you remember, we had the path sort of like coming from here where he had a path. I've sort of moved that path now to go over here. And I really, really like that. I think this is coming together super awesome. I even threw in a tree back here that I'm not entirely certain on, but it sort of does some of the view. And I don't think I have any grass on me, do I? No, I want to cover that up. I don't want that stone block sort of peeping out there. We've also brought a bit of dirt in just to the corners here so that I could actually make this look well, which kind of works out because we would probably have a bit of dirt in here, but I didn't want to go too heavy with the dirt in this cave to begin with. I think I probably would add some into the walls in the future if I was to do another cave, but for right now I'm kind of happy with this one. It feels like it's both organic and man-made. It feels like this was here originally and then man came in and I messed around with it a little bit just to make it a bit more secure. That's pretty much what I've done. I went with dark oak and cobblestone up here. I did think about using stone instead of cobblestone just to sort of break up what I normally do. But I figured that, you know, he's been mining in the mine. He's going to have a bunch of cobblestone lying around. So it would make sense that he would utilize that first. And so I've tried to think really logically when it comes to this place. And we've got a few sort of bushes up here. And again, we've got these berry bushes just sort of dotted around up here. And I think that all in all, I think this really, really sums up exactly what I wanted this episode to be about. You know, this guy, we set off from our desert village. We came here on our horse and cart with our supplies. We decided that it wasn't viable to live out of our wagon. So we went and we converted a cave into a bit more of a living space. We've got ourselves our bed, well not our bed, but we got ourselves somewhere to sit in here, somewhere to cook our food up. And we figured that we would have quite a lot of resources from digging this out, or just in general, that we'd probably want somewhere safe to store it. And so we put that here. And I think that that works out. And again, we bring in this firewood because obviously we're using fire. We would have some stockpile of this firewood, at least somewhere. I did think about using braces, but I thought this is very early. He probably wouldn't have that. He'd just stick it up somewhere. And I decided here was the perfect place to do it. I've tried to blend in the cave to make it look more natural above. Now, we've not gone over here, and there's still a bit here that I need to do, I think. But that little bit can wait. And obviously, we need to do up here. And I'll probably bring that all the way up at some point. But for right now, I just kind of wanted to get this bit done. And we've also decided that maybe he'd have a bit of a pathway here. Actually, one thing that I do want to do is, let's get rid of this. And let's do that. Now, we don't have dirt slabs. I thought we had dirt slabs. I don't know why I thought we had dirt slabs, but I thought we did. But we don't. So I'm stuck using cobblestone slabs, which is a little unfortunate, but it'll make do. It'll make do. We could also add some sort of like trap doors on here, but I don't want to go overkill. I added a rock back here as well, some sort of like rock bit, and then I added a couple of other little bits of rock up there, and I thought about adding another one somewhere over here, and I may do that there. I think that's what I would do there. But I've spent all day on this, literally all day working on this, and I am happy with it, and I want to take a moment and show you what this looks like with shaders on, but if I do that, I will lose frames terribly bad. My computer just can't run this with shaders. I get like 10 frames a second. It's good enough to take a picture for the thumbnail, because that's what I've been doing. I've been taking pictures with shaders on for the thumbnail to make the thumbnail look a little bit better. But moving around in this world just with shaders on isn't a reliability. But I think if we can envision this style reaching out from here and infecting this whole area and just being a part of it, I think we're going to have a really cool build on our hands. And I think that I feel like I've leveled up in this build. I've had a lot of fun challenging things that I've never done before. I mean, I've done little storage warehouses like this before, just little huts like this before. But I've never done a cave, and I've never done a wagon. I mean, I've tried these in the past, and they've turned out terrible. But I just sort of attempted them because, like, oh, I should probably do something different. Let's do that. This time I really wanted to do one, and I think it worked out really well. My wife says this looks like a house more than a wagon, but I think it looks like a wagon. I think you can definitely see that it's a wagon. But yeah, I think that's going to call it for this episode, guys. So, if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like. And click subscribe if you want to see more from me. Guys, I'm KC. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.